Hi guys. So I wanted to go over my doctor's appointment with you guys on last Wednesday. I had mentioned in the vlog that I wanted to talk to you guys about that only because the information that I got was not what I expected. So here's the thing. I'm not going to go through the whole entire thing with you guys only because we'd be here all night, but that is the introduction to our infertility. We will upload that. So I'm going to kind of give you guys kind of a brief on what happened and how we ended up at our doctor's appointment on Wednesday. So back in December, when Chris did a job change, we found out that we had 100% coverage with infertility. Now, that doesn't mean IVF. Unfortunately, you know, Kaiser doesn't do IVF. They will outsource to USC, which is where they'll give you like a 15% discount if you use USC. And or you can use, I mean, you can use any infertility clinic. They're just tied to them, so you'll get a discount. So we had decided we wanted to do IUI anyway, so we were so excited. The next day I called. I immediately wanted to get in with a male doctor that I had heard was phenomenal, but he was a 2-week waiting list, so kind of a bummer. They gave me another doctor by the name of Dr. B, and she was available within the next 2 days. So I said, that's fine, I'll grab her. We were ready to do this. My consultation I had with her, Chris was at work, and immediately when I met her, she was nice, but I knew that she wasn't going to be the doctor for me. She was just very, very protocol. It was like talking to a robot. There wasn't a lot of personal, you know, I don't know. So, but that was okay, because at this point we wanted to get pregnant. I could care less if they, you know, wrote in the sky, whatever. She went over, you know, our health and what happened in the past and Chris and all of that. And she set up my blood work. She set up Chris's blood work. She set up my egg reserve ultrasound. She set up Chris's semen analysis. She set up a lot of tests. She also set up the referral for the urology for Chris. So I left the office thinking, okay, we've got a lot of tests coming up. We're gonna do this. So we were really excited. We ended up getting our test results back. My period was to come the next day. So I was to do a ultrasound for my egg reserve on my 3rd day of my menstrual cycle. So it all landed perfectly. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. It was all moving really quick. So she said, if all your test results come back and everything looks good, we'll move on and we'll start on your next cycle. So I was so excited. So that's what we did. We went in for my we went on my 3rd day. We did my ultrasound. We did all of our blood work. We did everything that we were supposed to do. And we called in and we went back in and we sat down with her. That was my idea. And she went through all of our results. Chris, it's male infertility, so he's a lot deeper into the test, and I'll get into that some other time. But with me, she said everything checked out. The only thing I was low on was vitamin D, so she put me on that. And I'll always remember this, because I remember sitting there and I thought to myself, for some reason I thought I had, I don't know if it was from like a doctor, but I thought that I had more eggs than I do. I don't know why I felt that way. And I said to her, I said, well, she says, I want to go over through your egg reserve. Your ultrasound looks good. Everything looks fine. And I said, well, do I have more eggs than I should? And she says, no. She says, you're just where you're supposed to be. I was 36 at the time. I'm 38 now. I'll be 39 in October. And she says, no, everything looks fine. So I was so excited. Left that appointment feeling like we are going to get pregnant on our next cycle. So she told me to call them on my 1st day of my period, and then they will schedule me for a baseline ultrasound on the 3rd day. Chris was there. We would my baseline ultrasound, you know, not much to tell. On my 5th day of my period, she put me on Clomid. She put me on 100 milligrams. And she said, let's do 100 milligrams because everything checks out. You ovulate, you get your periods. I mean, guys, I can tell you, TMI, the minute I'm going to start, I can tell you the minute that everything is perfect. So she put me on the Clomid. second to my last day. So I should have been done with Clomid on that Thursday afternoon. Wednesday morning, I woke up with the worst cramping. Went off to work by 10 a.m. I couldn't function. I was shaking. So Chris took me to the doctors, took me back, and they did an ultrasound immediately. And she said, this isn't going to work. We're not going to be able to use this cycle. Your lining of your uterus has burned. And I said, well, why? And she said, we've put you on too high of a dose of Clomid. We were devastated. I mean, like, completely devastated. So unfortunately, due to the burning of my lining of my uterus, we were not going to use that cycle. I was really upset. So we just decided not to use her. I was so upset about the whole entire thing. So unfortunately, we had been in a car accident that year. It just, everything wasn't working out. And so after we were feeling better and everything was back on track, we decided that we were going to go back to Kaiser, but we were going to see and make an appointment with the male doctor that I wanted to see in the first place. It took us a couple months to get into him, but as soon as we sat down with him, he was as amazing as his reviews. He was wonderful. We chatted, we talked, he took his time with us. Everything was just really, really exciting. And so we were ready to go. This was in September. And then all of a sudden we decided to go buy a house. So everything, of course, life gets round up again, right? And so we got in the middle of buying a home and all that. And then we said, after we buy the house, we'll go ahead and we'll start back up. So when we moved out here, I had found, because I told Chris, should we go all the way back to Sunset, to Los Angeles? Should we continue on? And he's like, whatever you want to do, I support it. I found out they did have an infertility clinic out here where we're at. I went on to my doctor's review, and she has been with them for a really long time. And not only that, but her reviews are phenomenal. So I got excited. I called in to make an appointment with her, and unfortunately she was booked for the next month and a half before I could even get in. So I said, well, it is what it is. And then the lady comes back on and says, no, I actually have a cancellation for tomorrow. Do you want to take it? Yes. So I was ecstatic. So I was able to get into her the next day. And as soon as I walked in, she was like, hey, how are you? Welcome. I mean, it was just, it was amazing. So to be very positive about Chris and putting him on Clomid. Now, I probably skipped a part. Chris did have his urology appointment, and it didn't go good. They said there's really not much we can do other than put you on Clomid, and we decided not to do that. Not because he didn't, but because we had other plans. So as I was sitting in there with her, she said, why didn't you guys go on Clomid for Chris? And then I explained it to her, and she said, well, I feel really positive with him. We put him on Clomid, and she asked me, what is your periods? Like every 29 days, 28 days? And I told her my periods were every 25 to 26 days. And I was really excited about that, and that's really the true answer. I just thought that she would be like, wow, you're getting your periods, everything's good. And she said, Leanne, I have a huge concern. She said, your periods should really be every 29 to 30 days. Now, of course, you're speaking of an 18, 20, 21, 22-year-old girl. But she said, are you seeing that your periods are coming closer and closer and closer? And as I looked on my calendar, I noticed she was right. I used to be, a couple of years ago, every 27 days. Now it's fallen to every 25, 26 days. So I do see as my periods are getting closer. And she said, my concern, she said, your numbers aren't coming back so great. She said, you seem to have a low egg reserve. And I said, well, okay. And she said, I get that because of your test results from Dr. B. And I said, well, that can't be, because I talked to Dr. B and she had told me that everything looked great. Everything, my egg reserve is where it's supposed to be. And she said, no, it's not. She said, you are showing as 38, but your eggs are showing 4 years older than your age. And I'm like, what? She says, your eggs are showing at 42. So to get you pregnant would be trying to get a 42-year-old pregnant. I was in shock. I was in complete shock. So, just, I don't even know. I don't even know. I didn't even know where to go with that information. She started talking to me about an egg donor, using an embryo donor. Like, what? Where is this even coming from? Then she asked us if we thought about adoption. I'm like sitting there like, what is she talking about? You know? And I explained to her, no, you know, I want to carry my baby. And she said that may not be possible. So she says, I'm a hard grader. You know, I will put my test results. I ended up getting my results back. Some of my blood work that we just had done on Saturday. At the end of this, I'll go ahead and put that in the video compared to 2.5 years ago when I saw Dr. B. So it's definitely a decline for sure. I'm angry. Like I'm upset because the truth is, Dr. B was wrong immensely, because no, my numbers were not good. I don't know why she said that to me. If I knew that my egg reserve was a ticking time bomb, we would have done this sooner. I just figured everything was good and we had time. Obviously we didn't. And I'm really bummed. Like I'm pissed. I'm really pissed. I'm saying a lot because if I don't, I'm just going to cry. But anyway, you know, my doctor said to me, Leanne, you've had a baby. We know your uterus works. We know everything is good on that end. She said, it's just, you waited a really long time to have a second one. I don't know. So I asked her, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And she said, no, we're going to try. So she said, I'm going to put you on, and I've done a lot of homework on this since I came home. And this is like, everybody's doing this. This is a big thing now. It's the DHEA. She put me on 75 milligrams. So I do one of these in the morning and then half at night. And this helps. This is actually a male testosterone. She's telling me my estrogen's too high. So I've been doing this one here. And if you guys read upon this, I won't get too far into this, only because I don't want to, you know, like I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all. But the DHEA seems to be incredible. There is a lady that does a phenomenal talk. I mean, she talks phenomenal about this stuff. And you guys have got to see her video. She's incredible. I will link her below. And she's a huge advocate of this stuff. So, and it seems to be a really big thing right now, the DHEA. So she put me on that. And then she put me on 600 milligrams of the CoQ10. And then if you guys know, that's oxygen for the blood. So I think that's just supplying and, you know, getting that uterus nice and ready to go. So that is what this is. So I put these, you know, twice a day. I've always, and she said it's great, I've always done my fish oils. So I do 2 of these. I do one in the morning, one at night. So 2,000 milligrams of the fish oil. So also I was doing folic acid even before I saw her, just because I know folic acid is great to make sure it helps with, you know, Down syndrome and all of that. So I've always really been big about my folic acid, and she was really great about that too. I looked this up as well, and she said it's fine. The raspberry leaf, they have a pregnancy tea, but it's mainly made up of the raspberry leaf. So that's great to get the uterus nice and thick for implantation. So that's that. And that's just really, oh, and my multivitamin, I don't have it, but I have a prenatal as well. So, you know, guys, I have the most beautiful, incredible, almost 19-year-old son. He'll be 19 in May, and he's a miracle, you know. I was so young. I was a baby when I had him. I was 20. And it's funny what God plans. You know, he put this beautiful little baby in my life, and Chris and I get to share him every day. So, you know, my thing with all of this is that my number one concern and priority is to make sure that we have a healthy baby. That is number one. And I will never, ever, ever put my babies at risk. If my doctor says not a good idea, then we don't do it. You know, we're blessed with Nathan. But yeah, number one is their health, even before I have them. I love them, you know, so I just want to make sure. But yeah, so that's what happened at my appointment. I have to tell you guys though, the DHEA, I don't think it's the CoQ, because that's just, you know, this stuff has made me feel the side effects of this are a lot, I have to say. I feel like grouchy. I feel a lot of hot flashes with this constantly. As a matter of fact, it was 75 in here and I had to turn the air on. I do. I feel tired. I feel really, really sleepy on it. My hair feels super dry. My skin just feels different. I told Chris today, I said, I am just feeling like crap. And I told him, I don't care. I will have dry hair. I will have oily skin. I will I will be tired. I don't care. I will do what it takes. I'll take what side effects. I will do what it takes to make sure that we have this beautiful, healthy baby. And that's important to me and to Chris and to Nate. So we are keeping Nate out of this, obviously, until, you know, hopefully we're blessed with a pregnancy. And anyway, so I wanted to chat with you guys about that. I will post my results from my blood work from December of 5th, 2014, and then my newest results that I got back on Saturday night. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.